Hello。
不打开。
Hello。
There we go.
好，我们要先来欢迎 Pastor York。Pastor York 是 Arcadia 牧区的青年传道，我们谢谢他今天特别老远跑来。他昨天晚上到 Arcadia 讲信息，今天早上又赶来这边，所以他就刚刚就说 I don't know how Pastor Chan did it 。But we're very grateful， 非常感谢他今天来，所以他今天会用英文跟我们分享信息，然后我来试着翻译。好，我们就再一次掌声，谢谢他来。OK， time for you。
先试试看，用中文来介绍自己一下，好不好？因为我是11岁从台湾来搬到美国这边的，然后现在31岁，所以我20年一直都没有回去过。为什么呢？I don't know，跟是我的个性嘛。我觉得每次我要去，我来到别的国家一定要当美国人嘛，对，所以就很多中文真的忘了，我没有去中文学校，然后我只是一直用英文，所以有点奇妙，因为神叫我当牧师的时候，我从来没有想到我要去华人的教会去服务，你知道吗？我一直是在美国教会长大的。其实我是在一个灵粮堂第一次信主是我16岁的时候，可是从大学以后我都是一直在美国的教会 ，OK， 所以我太太也不是华人，是外国人，然后呢，所以真的没有想到我会回到华人这边来服务，真的是神的 guidance。我中文的程度就是这样子吧。So from here on， 我从现在开始我从英文，然后帮我来翻译，好不好？不好意思哦。
OK。
I'm gonna go off script a little bit. Is that okay?
No problem.
So Rancho, the city, has a really special place in my heart.
Rancho 这个地方对我有一个特别的一个意义。
Mostly because I got married here in the city.
因为我在这里结婚了。
Yeah. If you go on the 210 freeway, you see a cross on the side of the freeway. That's where I got married.
在210路上有一个有很大的十字架的教会，那就是我就在那里结婚的。
So every time I drive to Rancho, I've done it twice now. Well, about 4 times this year. Every time I drive on the 210, I remember God's goodness in my life.
每一次我从210经过，so far今年在4次，4次，我就是感受到神的恩典。
I'm reminded that the blessing of God is its people.
神提醒我，神的祝福是从人来。
Yeah, I mean money is nice, but at the end of the day, like the treasure of heaven is really people.
当然神的恩典是很多，但是神真的祝福是从我们身边的人来。
I mean, think about it, right? Like in Matthew, book of Matthew with John, they talk about the pearl of great price.
在马太福音里面讲这个珍宝的一个价值。
Right, it's the merchant found a treasure in the middle of the field, and go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, and he bought it with everything he had. He bought the field just for that one treasure, right?
对，在福音书上讲，他变卖了一切去寻找珍宝。
And that treasure is you.
那个珍宝就是你。
Because think about it, right? Like he loves us so much that he's willing to buy us back with his life.
想想看，他这么爱我们一句，他愿意舍上他自己的生命。
So I just want to encourage you guys that, like me, I don't have much in terms of financially speaking.
所以我就想鼓励大家，我自己也是在财务上也没有很多。
But I am blessed because I am filled with the people that God brought in my life, right?
但是我生命中确实充满了祝福我的人。
Yeah, like my wife, my church, my friends.
像我的太太、我的教会、我的朋友。
These are the blessings of God.
这些就是从神来的祝福。
Amen.
Amen.
For the most part, I shared this message last night at Arcadia campus.
我昨天晚上在 Arcadia 分享这个信息。
but I'm also really trying to listen to the Holy Spirit in what He wants me to share with you guys specifically.
但是我真正的是要顺从圣灵的带领，让我知道他要跟大家分享什么。
You know, people are more important than the method. Let me explain.
人是比方法还要重要。来解释一下。
We do ministry not because we do ministry for people.
我们很多的服事是为了人。
Right? I mean, at least we do it for God, but the target is people.
我们是服事神，但是我们是透过人。
So, if we put people first, our method can be flexible.
所以我们如果以人为主，我们很多方法可以很有弹性。
It's that the downside is we're so attached to the method. Sometimes we forget about the people.
但是有些趋势是我们太坚持在一些方法上，我们反而忽略了人。
So I just want to encourage that with you guys. I don't know why I was supposed to share that, but I just felt led by the Holy Spirit too.
所以请大家谅解，我本来是有预备好一个信息，但是我现在就让圣灵来引领。
It has nothing to do with my message.
哦，跟我的信息没关。
Now I'm going to my message, yeah?
好，现在我们就进入信息。
I want to go to 2 Kings chapter 18. 我们一起来好不好？
好，我们要跟大家一起来分享《列王记下》18章。
I would like to encourage you to bring on your own Bible. I mean, as good as is on here, I might skip around. So I really encourage you to follow it on your own Bible. Yeah.
呀，我是很鼓励大家都带圣经来。虽然我们有这个 PowerPoint， 可是有的时候我也会跳在不同的经节里。
Okay, I'm gonna give you 1 minute to find it on your Bible. Okay, 1 minute. Starting now.
那给我们时间去找圣经。
If you're there, say Amen.
我已经有圣经的人就说 Amen。
If you're not there, say Oh no.
Oh no, my book is in the back.
You have this, right? Do you want your Bible?
It will be hard for me to say.
All right, no problem. I heard no amens. Did nobody? Okay, good. Come on. All right, there we go. Now I know you guys are ready. Okay, come on. Okay, let's read from verse 1 to verse 8 of chapter 18. Okay, I'm going to do verse by verse with Catherine over there. Okay?
好，我们要读1到8节，列王记下18章。
So verse 1, in the 3rd year of Hoshea, son of Eliah, king of Israel, Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, king of Judah, began to reign.
以色列王以拉的儿子何西亚第3年，犹大王亚哈斯的儿子西西家登基。
Verse 2, he was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 29 years. His mother's name was Abijah, daughter of Zechariah.
他登基的时候年25岁，在耶路撒冷做王29年。他母亲名叫雅比，是撒加利亚的女儿。
Verse 3, he did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, just as his father David had done.
西西家行耶和華眼中看為正的事，效法他主大衛一切所行的。
Verse 4, he removed the high places, smashed the sacred stones, and cut down the Asherah poles. He broke into pieces the bronze snake Moses had made. For up to that time, the Israelites had been burning incense to it. It was called Nehushtan.
他废去丘坛，毁坏柱像，砍下木偶，打碎摩西所造的铜蛇。因为到那时，以色列人人向铜像烧香，西西家叫铜蛇为铜块。
Hezekiah, verse 5, trusted in the Lord and God of Israel. There was no one like him among all the kings of Judah, either before him or after him.
西西家倚靠耶和华以色列的神，在他前后的犹大列王中，没有一个及他的。
He held fast to the Lord and did not stop following him. He kept the commands of the Lord had given Moses.
因为他专靠耶和华，总不离开，谨守耶和华所吩咐摩西的诫命。
Verse 7, and The Lord was with him. He was successful in whatever he undertook. He rebelled against the king of Assyria and did not serve him.
耶和华与他同在，他无论往何处去，尽都亨通。他背叛，不肯侍奉亚述王。
And verse 8, from the watchtowers to fortified cities, he defeated the Philistines as far as Gaza and his territory.
西西家攻击非利士人，直到加萨，并加萨的四境，从瞭望楼到坚固城。
So a little background before I continue.
我们先给大家讲一些这个的背景。
Okay, for those who you don't know, the Book of Kings, you see them in your Bibles as First Kings and Second Kings, right?
我们如果看圣经，知道有列王记上、列王记下。
Actually, historically speaking, it's actually all just one book.
那从历史的角度，其实就是一本书。
Okay, but back in the day, they don't have books like these, right? The scripture was written in scrolls.
以前并没有这样子的书，那个所有的圣经都是一个书卷。
But the problem is that if you put the entire First and Second Kings combined, the scroll is about this big.
但是如果所有的列王记的记载通通放在卷，那个书卷非常的多。
Yeah, so we think it was after like a few hundred years, or maybe during the time of Jesus, they divided the book into 2 volumes.
所以大概在耶稣的时候，那个列王记的书分成上下卷。
Yeah, I don't really know exactly when, but they divided sometime around that time.
确切的时间我们不知道，但是是被分开成上下卷。
Kings, the Book of Kings has similar reportings with the Book of Chronicles.
列王记上下跟历代志上下很类似的记载。
They report the same events, but from a different perspective.
他们记载同样的事情，却是用不同的角度。
So it gives us a good picture of what the history of Israel was like.
所以让我们对以色列有一个更好的认识。
And the funny thing about Kings and Chronicles is that when there's a good king, right, there's a lot written about them.
在历代记记载的那个好王有很多的记载。
And the bad king usually have very little written about them.
那坏的王就很少的记载。
Yeah. So Hezekiah was a great king.
所以西西家王是一个好王。
There's 2 chapters devoted to him in the Book of Kings.
所以在列王记上有2章来记载他。
Right. So let's just kind of go break down what we just read. Let's just kind of go over what we just read.
所以我们再来回看我们刚刚所读的。
So first of all, in like verse 3 to 4, you can tell the author of Book of Kings really praised Hezekiah for his faithfulness.
所以在第4节记载了作者他怎么样子称赞西西家是一个很信实的国王。
Yeah.
有信心的。
And in verse 4, you see that Hezekiah made a lot of positive changes in the country of Judah.
在第4节，又记载西西家王他做了很多的改革，很多的修正。
Yeah. So just also another background. Right after when Solomon ruled, the kingdom of Israel was divided into 2. I don't know if you know that story.
不晓得大家知道犹大历史，在所罗门王之后，那个以色列分成南北2国。
Yeah. So the northern kingdom is called Israel, and the southern kingdom is called Judah.
北国叫以色列，南国叫犹大。
Now, the northern kingdom is usually depicted as the more unfaithful kingdom.
北国通常就是比较不好的王。
Yeah, and although the southern kingdom is not that much better.
虽然南国也好不到哪儿去。
Yeah, but the southern kingdom, the royal bloodline belongs to King David.
但是南国的王是从大卫王的后裔下来。
Yeah, so now you know. So verse 4, you tell that he took away all the idols, all the false religion that Judah was being influenced by. He really transformed the country and bring the people back to God.
所以在第4节讲他去丘坛，然后这个除去外邦人的偶像，他真的是回转到神的面前。
And in verse 5, you can tell like there's something very special about Hezekiah that the author says there's no one like him before him or after him.
但是在第5节却说是第5节吗？
第5节对。
呀，说那个他做的事情是在从前的王都没做的。
Yeah. Verse 6 describes his faithfulness.
第六节讲到他的信实。
And verse 7 and 8 talks about Hezekiah's bravery.
在第7节就讲到他的勇敢。
Okay. For those who don't know, Assyria at that time was a very, very powerful and large country.
如果大家不知道，亚述王国在那个时候是非常强大的。
So if I want to use a modern reference, it's like, Judah is like a small country like Taiwan, and Assyria is a large country like America.
所以用现在的比喻呢，那个犹大大概像台湾这样小，然后亚述王大概像美国这样大。
Okay, that's the idea. Okay, and not just that, the Assyrians were known to be very cruel.
不只是这样子，亚述国是以他的残忍有名的。
Because we saw in the carvings in archaeology, we found that the Assyrians are very brutal to their enemies.
我们在从很多历史的考古中能够看到，亚述对他们的敌人是非常残酷的。
They would scare their enemies by cutting the heads of their enemies and put them on a stick with like 5 heads on a stick, and then put it in the battlefield to scare the enemy.
他们会把敌人砍下的头，像5个头，那种插在一个棍子上，然后在敌人面前这样子插着，让把人家吓跑。
They put it like all those head poles everywhere. Sometimes they would surround a city with heads.
他们残酷到他们可以把这样子的一个头的这个柱子这样插在整个敌人城的四围。
So that's the kind of people the Assyrians are.
所以你就晓得亚述人是多么的残酷。
So it's important when Hezekiah was able to stand up against Assyria. It's a big deal.
所以西西家王可愿意站起来跟这个亚述国他们这样子的习惯来对抗的时候，他是非常勇敢的。
Not even just that the northern kingdom at this time just got captured by Assyria. Israel got captured.
在这个时候，其实北国已经被亚述国所打败。
So you actually get a picture of how Hezekiah stood up against Assyria in chapter 19.
所以在列王记下19章，你如果去读，会知道这个西西家王他怎么样子跟亚述他们对抗。
I just encourage you to go home and read it. It's a really fun story.
呀，这是很有趣的故事，所以请大家回去读。
But the summary of it all is that God actually stood up and defended Hezekiah.
但是总结就是耶和华神站起来为他征战。
Because Hezekiah ran to God when he was scared.
因为西西家王到神的面前，因为他那时候非常害怕，寻求神的帮助。
So you see, Hezekiah is a man who is not only faithful to God, he's willing to stand up against fear. He's willing to run to God when things don't go very well.
所以西西家王不仅是一个信实的神，有信心的神。当他自己面对恐惧的时候，他知道到神的面前来寻求帮助。
Not only that,
也不只是如此而已。
We read in 2 Chronicles, Hezekiah restored worship from the temple back to God.
在历代之下又记载西西家王把当时的敬拜回到圣殿中来敬拜神。
Because of what he did, the people of Judah they started to become more faithful to God.
因为他，所以犹大的百姓就更敬畏神。
So basically, in our modern day term, he brought revival to a country.
所以用现在的话语来讲，就是他带来复兴。
So we knew that he's a great man of God, right? Do you guys get the picture now?
所以大家已经知道他是一个很棒的神了。
Yeah.
很棒的王。
Yeah. He's also friends with the prophet Isaiah.
他也是先知以赛亚的好朋友。
And also during his reign, Judah was very rich because of God's blessing. Excuse me.
当在他统治的时候呢，犹大国也是非常的富庶，因着神的祝福。
However, here is something that I want you guys to focus on.
所以现在我请大家注意。
Let's go to chapter 21.
我们来看列王记下21章。
If you're there, say amen. If you're not, say oh no.
找到了就说阿们，找不到的还没有看到就说 oh no。
There we go. No one said oh no. I like that. Actually, I want to go back to chapter.
帮我的袋子里面有中英圣经。
Maybe you can just translate from what I read. It's not that hard. I want to go to chapter 20, verse 21, the last verse of chapter 20.
他要读20章的这个后两节。
Yeah, verse 21.
21节。
So it says, Hezekiah rested with his ancestors, and Manasseh his son succeeded him as king. You can do that, right?
My book is coming.
Okay. Give him a hand. He's a great husband, right? He's a husband. Yeah, 2021. RC. 2021. 我刚刚念了20节，是不是？21.
西西家与他的列祖同岁。Is that right?
He wrestled with his
Yeah, 他儿子马拿西接续他做王。
Okay, let's go to chapter 21, verse 1.
好，在21章的第1节。
Manasseh was 12 years old.
马拿基登基的时候12岁。
And he reigned in Jerusalem 55 years. His mother's name was Hephzibah.
在耶路撒冷做王55年，他母亲名叫邪西巴。
He did evil in the eyes of the Lord, following the detestable practices of the nations the Lord has driven out before the Israelites.
马拿西行耶和华眼中看为恶的事，效法耶和华在以色列人面前赶出的外邦人所行可憎的事。
He rebuilt the high places his father Hezekiah had destroyed. He also erected altars to Baal and made an Asheroth pole, as Ahab, king of Israel, had done. He bowed down to all the starry hosts and worshipped them.
他重新建筑他父亲西西家所毁坏的丘坛，又为巴力筑坛，做亚舍拉像，效法以色列王亚哈所行的，且敬拜侍奉天上的万象。
He built altars in the temple of the Lord, of which the Lord said, "In Jerusalem I will put my name."
在耶和华殿宇中筑坛，耶和华曾指着这殿说：“我必立我的名在耶路撒冷。”
In the two courts of the temple of the Lord, he built altars to all the starry hosts.
他在耶和华殿的两院中为天上的万象筑坛。
Verse 6, he sacrificed his own son in the fire, practiced divination, saw omens, and consulted mediums and spiritualists. He did much evil in the eyes of the Lord, arousing his anger.
并使他的儿子经火，又关照，用法术，立交鬼的和行巫术的，多行耶和华眼中看为恶的事，惹动他的怒气。
I'm going to skip to verse 9.
我们进到第9节。
But the people did not listen. Manasseh led them astray, so that they did more evil than the nations the Lord had destroyed before the Israelites.
他们却不听从，马拿西引诱他们行恶，比耶和华在以色列人面前所灭的列国更甚。
Interesting, huh?
特别啊！
Can we try something?
我们来试试看。
Put your hand on your heart.
我们把手放在心上。
Repeat after me.
我们跟着他说
Dear Jesus,
亲爱的主耶稣，
speak to my heart.
请对我的心说话，
Change my life.
改变我的生命。
In your name I pray.
奉耶稣基督的名祷告
Amen.
，Amen。
I want to share this message with you guys from a place of love.
我跟大家分享这个信息是出于爱。
Okay? So if anybody hear what I said today and you feel offended or feel shamed, that's not what I'm coming from.
所以你如果听了我信息，觉得被冒犯或觉得羞愧，那不是我的本意。
Okay. I'm here because I love the people God called me to.
我来是因为我爱神的孩子。
Okay. So this is an interesting situation we just read in the Bible.
从圣经看到这个是很特别有趣的一段经文。
How can the son of one of the greatest king, a reformer, become one of the most evil king in Israel's history?
怎么可能从一个敬畏神、爱神的一个父亲，变到一个行耶和华所憎恨一切事情的一个王？
I think this is one of the greatest tragedies in the Bible.
我觉得这是圣经里面最大的一个悲剧。
Because if you read a story in 2 Kings and 2 Chronicles, you actually see that Hezekiah did amazing things for God and his people.
因为我们从列王记Chronicle
yeah.
我们从历代记上记载，我们看到希西家是行很多耶和华所看为恶好的事情，善好的事情。
Yeah. So how come there is such an evil son?
所以为什么会有一个这样邪恶的孩子呢？
What happened?
到底怎么一回事？
And to answer what happened is the main focus of my message.
所以我们今天就是要来关注在为什么会发生这样的事情。
You see in verse 6, Manasseh sacrificed his own son.
在第6节有记载，马拿西使他的儿子经火。
So those who doesn't understand ancient Near East religion, sacrificing children is actually quite common.
对中东历史不是太了解的弟兄姐妹，因为在那个时候的时代，献自己的孩子是平常的事情。
So the god that they worship to sacrifice is called Moloch.
他们所敬拜的神叫摩洛。
Moloch looks like a big bull, a cow with a horn. Okay.
摩洛看起来就像一只牛，有2个大角。
His statue is usually made in iron. It's black, and in the middle of the statue there's a furnace.
它的像通常是用铁铸的，然后它中间有一个大洞，就像一个窑洞一样。
So we found out through archaeological digs that children from babies up to 4 years old were sacrificed to Moloch.
所以考古学中有发现，那个他们让儿女经火是从 baby 到4岁都有。
And with their ancient texts, we learned that during the ceremony, they would surround the statue with loud instruments, and they would play loud music the whole time.
所以当他们在献祭的时候，他们会在四面这个敲打的乐器，然后做他们的赞美。
They do that because they don't have to hear the cries of the children when they throw them into the fire.
他们这样子制造那些噪音，因为他们这样就听不到孩子的哭声。
They threw kids in large numbers to Moloch.
他们对摩洛神是献很多小孩的。
Why?
为什么呢？
Because they believe that when you sacrifice your child to Moloch, Moloch will grant you any wish.
因为他们相信，如果当你把孩子献上的时候，你们可以得到摩洛神的祝福。
And it's a wish, like a deep desire or something, like whatever you really wanted, and you ask Moloch by offering your child.
你想要什么，你就透过让你的孩子经火，你就得到那个祝福。
And it seems to work, actually.
那可能是有的，一定是有人
There's a record
可行的。
in Chronicles that when the Israel was attacking this king, and this king sacrificed his son, and then the attack stopped.
在历代志就有记载，就是说这个王被攻击，然后他就献上他自己的孩子，结果这个战争就结束了。
So there's a demonic power behind what they're doing.
所以在这个仪式当中有一个很邪恶的力量。
So of course God hates it, right?
所以神当然是非常憎恶这样的事情。
But I want to pose to you a question. I mean, a thought. Sorry.
但是我在这里要提一个问题，让大家来思考。
There's something very wrong about our human sin nature.
我们人的罪性当中是有一个很错误的一个地方。
And we're willing to sacrifice or kill our young children for the sake of our ambition and convenience.
竟然愿意牺牲自己的孩子来达到自己的目标跟自己想要的东西。
It's natural for sin nature to sacrifice the next generation for the current generation.
就我们的罪性会使我们牺牲下一代，为了完成我们自己的一些愿望。
Because sin nature is selfish.
因为罪性就是自私。
We think about ourselves only in sin.
我们在罪中通常想关于自己的事更多。
Are we okay? 还好吗？
Yes.
Okay. But God made a point of who He is back in Genesis.
但是神在创世纪里面就说他是谁。
He called Himself, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
他已经说我是亚伯拉罕、以撒、雅各的神。
He's a God. See, we worship a God of generations.
所以我们敬拜的神是世世代代的神。
See, He doesn't just only bless the current generation. He blessed the current generation because of His relationship with the last generation.
他祝福我们现在的世代，因为他曾经祝福上个世代。
Right, in verse 3 of chapter 18.
18章
第3节. It says, He did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, just as His father David had done.
18章第3节讲，希西家行耶和华眼中看为正的事，效法他祖大卫一切所行的。
David is like, I don't know, 10, 20 generations removed from Hezekiah.
大卫大概是希西家20代以前的事情。
I don't know the exact number. We can count later.
对，他不知道实际的代数。
But see, God blessed Judah, even though they were bad kings, because He honored His relationship with David.
神祝福犹大，其实他是好几代以后的那个大卫的后裔。
Yeah. So He's not just invested in one generation. Our God is invested in all generations.
所以神不只是祝福一代，他是祝福他的千万代。
So this is the problem, right? But the problem with sin nature is that, again, I'm repeating this, sin nature tends to sacrifice the young for the old.
我再说一次，就是说我们的原罪或者罪性，让我们能够会很容易牺牲下一代，为了我们这一代。
Which is why the young tends to rebel against the old.
这也就是为什么年轻人容易对现代的这一代反抗。
See, the devil wins when he can separate the generations.
所以在仇敌就赢了，因为他分裂了两代。
He also wins if he makes the generations hate each other.
仇敌也赢了，因为他让两代彼此仇恨。
Or he corrupt the next generation that they did more evil than the previous generation.
或者是他让下一代更败坏，这样子就没有上一代的祝福。
Okay? We have to be wise and aware
所以我们必须要聪明，而且有这个决心。
that your children and the next generation is a prime target from the devil.
知道我们的下一代，我们的孩子就是仇敌攻击的对象。
See, he can't touch you anymore because you already belong to the Lord. You're already like on church. You're already here worshiping God. You're tithing. You're leading cell group. You're already sold out for God. He's not going to be bothering with you.
因为我们已经得救了，我们也很遵行神的话，我们敬拜他，我们11奉献，所以仇敌不来碰我们了。
But he'll try to make your life miserable. By the end of the day, you're already going to heaven anyways, right?
反正你总是会进天堂的。
But the whole point is this: is that so he's going to be fixated on the next generation.
但是他要攻击的对象就是我们的下一代，
More than you.
比攻击你还要多。
Again, I'm not. How do I say this? I'm not here to say, okay, in the previous generation, you guys did everything wrong. Okay, I'm just trying to bring an awareness of the truth from the Bible.
我并不是要在这里说我们这一代做的不好不对，但是我只是让大家来 focus 在圣经上所说的。
Because I love the last generation.
因为我对上一代非常敬爱。
Okay, you guys sacrificed so much for this current one.
你们对我们这一代奉献了许多。
So, again, I'm not here to tell you guys are not good. Okay, just keep that in
所以
mind.
我不是在这里说你们不好，
Okay, so please hear my heart.
请听我的心。
So what happened to Hezekiah? Why did Manasseh become so
所
evil?
以马拿西到底是发生了什么事，让他变成一个这样邪恶的王？
So I think the answer can be found in chapter 20 of 2 Kings.
我想答案在列王记下20章。
I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to summarize that chapter for you.
我不读，我就是来做个结论。
so basically, Hezekiah got really sick.
所以西西家王生病了。
And the Lord told Hezekiah through Isaiah that you're gonna die. Just get your stuff ready.
所以神透过先知以赛亚跟西西家王说：“你要死了，你会生病。”
And of course, Hezekiah did what every normal person did. He prayed to God to save his life.
所以西西家王跟每一个人会做的一样，他跟神祷告说：“神啊，救我。”
And you know what? God did.
而且神真的救他。
So he added his life 15 more years.
而且神延长了他的寿命15年。
So great, yay!
所以很棒啊。
But something happened to his heart after that miracle.
但是很奇怪的，他的心就有点改变，在这个神迹之后。
We don't really know what really happened, okay?
我们不晓得是真正发生了什么事。
But I can get a clue in 2 Chronicles chapter 32 verse 25.
在历代志
32章25节。
历代志32:25，他怎么说？在历代志下32章
25节。
历代志下32章25节。好。
By the way, just thank you guys for trying to follow with me in the Bible.
谢谢你跟我一起来读圣经。
I'm just gonna read it here. I don't know if I got it wrong. I'm sorry, but I put it in my computer. I'm gonna read from the Bible. That's our soul. But Hezekiah's heart was proud, and he did not respond to the kindness shown him. Therefore, the Lord's wrath was on him and on Judah and Jerusalem.
西西家却没有照他所蒙的恩报答耶和华，因他心里骄傲，所以愤怒要临到他和犹大并耶路撒冷。
Pastor Bill Johnson said this. It's a really amazing quote.
比尔强森牧师说了一句很有名的话。
Said the moment I take something God has done for me lightly is the moment callousness begins in my heart.
当我看清神给我的恩惠的时候，就是我骄傲或者是不骄傲的开始。
Yeah, I mean, if God blessed you and you don't thank Him in the right proportion, your heart will actually start to become hard.
当我们轻看神给我们的祝福恩典的时候，我们的心其实就开始刚硬。
It comes in very subtly.
它是很小小的这个改变。
But before you know it, you realize that if God keep blessing you and you keep not thanking Him, you no longer feel His love.
但是我们的心是逐渐刚硬。当我们继续承受神的恩典，我们却不注意也不感谢的时候。
Let me clarify for something before I move on. Let me
让我澄清一下。
Yeah. So for those who doesn't know, okay, in the Old Testament, God punishes His people.
在旧约我们看到神很多地方记载神惩罚他的百姓。
Partly because that was their covenant between Israel and God. That was their covenant. In their covenant, it says, if you do something wrong, I will punish you. That was their agreement.
因为在旧约记载很多跟神的约，你如果不这样做，你就会得到惩罚。
Which is good because God actually, is true to His word. You want a God who fulfills His promises, even the hard ones, right?
那我们知道神是守约的神，所以他当然是按着这个他跟百姓的约来行事。
So then the difference here in the New Testament.
但是新约不一样。
In the New Covenant.
在新约有一个新的约。
That Jesus Himself took the punishment for us.
耶稣为我们的罪付上代价，接受惩罚。
So all the punishment that we deserve is on Jesus Himself.
所以所有的惩罚，耶稣为我们承担。
So now that we're in the new covenant, God does not actually punish me.
所以在新约里头，神没有惩罚我们。
Okay? If you have a theology that God is punishing me, you're wrong.
所以在新约里，你如果觉得说神在惩罚我，这是不对的。
He did it on Jesus.
因为耶稣已经为我们承担。
So Oh, okay, I got it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So, press the button. Oops. So if bad things happen to you, it's probably because your sin or other people's sin.
所以很多时候，当我们碰到不好的事情，可能是我的罪，或者是别人的罪。
Okay, and then God is going to deliver you from it, right? Amen?
要神会释放我们。
This is why it's a good news, because then God took my punishment, but then in return, I got His holiness.
所以其实是好的，神 God
福音 good news, right? God took my punishment, and I got His holiness.
所以福音的好处就是神耶稣为我们受罚，然后我们得到他的祝福。
I just want to clarify that, okay? Okay, so it's not God is different, it's just a different covenant that we have with God.
神并不是不一样，而是他跟我们有不一样的约。
Okay, let's go on. So we can see in 2 Chronicles that it seems that Hezekiah grew very proud in his heart.
所以透过历代志下的记载，我们看到西西家王开始骄傲。
So proud that in chapter 20 of 2 Kings, that when the king of Babylon came to visit Hezekiah,
他骄傲到一个地步，所以在列王记下记载，巴比伦的王到这个来拜访他。
Now again, Babylon is like a rival country to Assyria at that time.
巴比伦在那个时候是后来继亚述国兴起的一个大国。
So the king probably visited, king of Babylon probably visited Hezekiah because he's probably want to forge an alliance together.
巴比伦王来拜访他，可能要跟他结盟。
Which makes sense because Hezekiah stood up against Assyria and they weren't conquered.
这个也说得通，因为西西家王他是来对抗亚述国的。
But again, Babylon is another big country.
那巴比伦是一个新兴的国家。
Okay, so Hezekiah got so happy that a very powerful king came to visit himself. He ended up showing the entire treasure of Jerusalem to the king of Babylon.
所以西西家王非常高兴，有这么大的国王来拜访我，所以他把他家所有的东西珍宝统统给他看。
But God didn't like that.
但是这样的行动却不讨神喜悦。
And what happened was in chapter 20 of 2 Kings.
所以在列王记下20章。
Let's go to verse 16 from chapter 20.
Verse 16.
Yeah, still.
Okay, 列王记下20章16节。
And Isaiah said to Hezekiah, "Hear the word of the Lord."
以赛亚对西西家说：“你要听耶和华的话。
The time will surely come when everything in your palace and all that your predecessors have stored up until this day will be carried off to Babylon. Nothing will be left, says the Lord.
日子必到，凡你家所有的，并你列祖积蓄到如今的，都要被掳到巴比伦去，不留下一样。这是耶和华说的。
And some of your descendants, your own flesh and blood, will be born to you, will be taken away, and they'll become eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon.
并且从你本身所生的众子，其中必有被掳去在巴比伦王宫里当太监的。
That's a scary word, right?
这个是很恐怖的话。
But look at his response in verse 19.
但是我们看西西家的回应，在第19节。
The word of the Lord you have spoken is good, Hezekiah replied.
他竟然说：“你所说耶和华的话甚好。”
For he thought, will there not be peace and security in my lifetime?
若在我的年日中有太平和稳固的情况，岂不是好吗？
See, in this 15 years, something about his heart becomes hard.
所以在这里，我们看到他的心其实变刚硬了。
So hard that it really doesn't matter what happens later, as long as in my lifetime everything is good and happy.
硬到他不管以后会发生怎么样，他说只要我在的日子太平就好。
Hezekiah developed this spiritual complacency towards God. He got spiritually lazy with God.
他的属灵状况就是越来越衰败。
And when we read in chapter 21, Manasseh became king when he was 12.
所以在21章，我们看到马拿西他登基的时候才12岁。
So that means that he was born in that 15 years when his life was no longer on fire for God.
所以我们算一算，知道马拿基生长的时候，就是西西家王，他对神已经不再那样子敬畏敬虔的时候。
Which means that Manasseh probably never saw his father burn for the Lord.
所以马拿西可能从来没有看过他爸爸为耶和华而发热心。
Or that he saw his father's religion and his father's sacrifice to God become routine and becomes passionless.
或者是他看到他爸爸敬畏的那些仪式已经变成像例行公事，也没有什么热情。
And here is my question for you guys.
所以这就是我的问题。
What is your legacy to the next generation?
我们要给我们的下一代是什么样的承传呢？
I'll tell you the truth, it's not your money.
我跟大家说，并不是你的钱，
It's not your status.
也不是你的地位。
Again, those are great, right? Good parents should leave money for their kids.
这些都很好，金钱可以帮助我们的小孩。
But then Hezekiah is the king and the richest person in that country.
但是西西家王是王中王，他所有很多的财富。
But I'm sure that his son is not in heaven right now.
但是我确定他的儿子现在不在天国。
What is your legacy?
我们的遗产是什么呢？给我们的孩子。
See, I believe
我相信
that your legacy, the best gift you can give to your children, is your fire for God.
我相信你给你孩子最棒的产业就是你对神的热情。
Because I use the word fire as in passion. I'm using the same meaning, okay?
我用火来代表热情。
But then to have fire, you gotta have sacrifice.
但是要有这个火热情，我们需要做出牺牲。
Because there's no sacrifice, there's nothing to burn, right?
如果没有献上牺牲，就没有什么可以烧的。
And what's a sacrifice?
那什么是我们要献上的？
We don't sacrifice bulls and sheep anymore, right? In the new covenant.
我们不像旧约要献牛献羊。
Right? In Romans 12, verse 1.
罗马书12章第1节。
Therefore, I urge you, brothers, in view of God's mercy, offer your bodies as living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship.
所以弟兄们，我以神的慈悲劝你们，将身体献上，当作活祭，是圣洁的，是神所喜悦的。你们如此侍奉，乃是理所当然的。
I'm sorry. Worship is not you're here on Sunday singing songs to God.
所以敬拜不只是礼拜天来这里唱敬拜赞美神，这是一部分。
But the most important thing is your heart, right?
最重要的是我们的心。
If you're just gonna sing without love to God, it's just karaoke.
如果我们只是唱，没有用我们的心来唱，只是像卡拉 OK 一样，
It's true.
是真的。
And it's this living sacrifice. What does that mean?
所以是一个活祭，这是什么意思呢？
Means in your life, this is what I believe. It's what is God in this season of your life calling you to give it to Him?
所以是在这个季节当中，神感动你要献上什么给神呢？
I don't know. It's your walk, right? Everybody's season is different.
我不知道你，因为每一个人的季节不一样。
But every season you're called to sacrifice.
但是每一个季节都有一个线上的季。
You can't compare to the person next to you. That's your personal journey with
你也不
God.
可能跟别人比较，因为每个人都不一样。
And what is sacrifices for?
那这个献祭是做什么呢？
It's usually when you offer it to God, in return you become more like Him.
这是因为我们献上这个祭给神的时候，我们可以更像神。
See, He's not that interested in making you rich.
神让你那个更有钱，他并不是很感兴趣。
Or not interested in making you super happy.
也不是让你特别开心。
He's more interested in you looking like Jesus.
他对你是不是更像耶稣，他更有兴趣。
Because by looking like Jesus, you are actually become the light of the world this world desperately needs.
因为你变得更像耶稣，你就变成世界的光，世界的盐。
I want us to shift our focus from worldly things to godly things.
我鼓励我们要把我们的眼光从世界转向神。
What is God calling you to sacrifice this season?
在这个季节当中，神 要我们献上什么样的祭？
Because it's by sacrifice you become more passionate on the fire for God, right?
因为透过献祭，我们对神就产生热情。
Could it be pride?
我们要献上什么呢？可能是我们的骄傲。
See, pride is one of the worst because you make things all about you.
骄傲是很难搞的，因为它就是都关于我自己。
I've been there, okay? I used to do ministry because I like it when people, give me praise.
我也曾经走过，因为我之前就是很喜欢服侍，因为我喜欢大家的焦点都在我
I
身
mean,
上。
like, look, I used to lead cell groups. I used to, be part of prayer meetings. And then it's cool in church. The last church I was at, when I walk into the room, everybody knows who I am.
我也带祷告会，也带敬拜赞美，我带小组，所以我走进去的时候，大家都说哇，哟，你好棒啊！
Yeah, I'm doing it for God, but, it feels good that when people praise me, right?
对，我虽然是为神做，但是人称赞我的时候，感觉是不错的。
So my worship was kind of tainted. 我的敬拜有点 corrupted.
虽然我的敬拜不怎么样。
Okay, sure. And God, in His love and mercy, led me through a very hard time and humbled my heart.
所以神就管教我，透过一些事情，让我能够谦卑下来。
Is your sacrifice this season? Could it be comfort?
所以你献上的祭可能是你的舒适。
Comfort is one of the worst things ever. I'm sorry.
我们的舒服，我们舒适圈实际上是最难打破的。
Because comfort creates an illusion that you don't need God.
因为在这样的舒适的环境当中，你会觉得你不需要神。
There's nothing wrong with you going through suffering.
这个我们进入一个受苦，并不是什么错事。
Because in the Christian perspective, suffering is meant to be for the glory of God.
基督徒受苦其实是为了要荣耀神。
Because He's transforming you in that time to become the image that you're supposed to be.
因为在这个过程中，他就是改变我们，让我们能够更像神。
Because suffering has a purpose.
因为受苦是有目的的。
See, the idea that suffering is bad and I need to run away from it, that's from a Buddhist perspective.
受苦是很痛苦的事情，所以我们必须逃开。这个是比较佛教的观念。
And that influenced our Chinese thinking.
所以这个影响到我们的一些想法。
Oh, how cool! I gotta. No, it's okay because suffering brings power in your life.
受苦是可以带来力量的。
That in your weakness, you depend on God and you see Him show up.
当我们依靠神的时候，我们就看到神的作为带来力量。
So is God asking you to sacrifice your comfort?
所以神若要我们走出舒适圈，
Could it be convenience? Is God asking to call you to sacrifice your convenience?
可能是要我们走出我们的方便。
What if God is calling you to lead a cell group and you're like, oh, it's not convenient?
如果谁要你带小组，你说哎呀不太方便。
I don't know. It's just, or that where somebody needs help, but you're like, oh, it's not convenient for me to help you, so you don't help them.
也许有人需要帮助，那你说哎呀有点不方便，所以就不用做了。
I don't know. That's your walk.
我不清楚，因为这是每一个人要跟神。
Is God calling you to sacrifice your love of money?
神要你来献上你对金钱的喜好吗？
I'll tell you the truth. If you're happy when you have money and you live in anxiety when you don't have money, you have a love of money.
如果你有钱，
你就很高兴，很 happy. 那如果你没有钱的时候，你很 焦虑 then you have a love of money.
你就一定很有钱。
No, 爱钱。
你就一定很爱钱。
钱是你的偶像。
对，钱变成你的偶像了，因为没有钱就很焦虑啊，你很依靠钱。
Right, because at the end of the day, is that it doesn't matter what's happening around us. Our peace comes from God.
因为不管怎么样，我们的心里头的平安是从神而来的。
And that's the lesson God is teaching me right now.
这就是我要跟大家分享的。
Because I'm learning that I, need to give up, trusting money, and He's teaching me to trust God more than trust money.
因为这是我现在在学的功课，我就是要依靠神，不是依靠钱财。
Every Christian has to go through this,
每一个基督徒都要经过这一段，
including pastors.
包括牧师。
It is God asking you to sacrifice your fear of man.
神是要你去献上你对人的恐惧吗？
Are you more worried about people's opinion than God's opinion of you?
你是对人怎么样看你更在乎，还是对神怎么看你更在乎？
This is an uncomfortable truth.
这个都是让我们觉得不太舒服的。
Because I think, in my opinion, there's a curse in Chinese culture.
因为我觉得中国人中有一种咒诅，
Is that we're willing to sacrifice holiness for the sake of appearance.
我们愿意为了面子来做很多牺牲。
Yeah. You sacrifice God's holiness. You sacrifice God's truth as long as you look good on the outside. It doesn't matter how you are on the inside. Because you're more worried about people's opinion than about what God thinks of you.
但是我们却牺牲了对神的圣洁跟敬畏，因为我们太在乎人的看法。
I'm sorry, the fear of man leads you to hypocrisy.
但是很抱歉的是，我们太在乎人的看法，我们就变成了很虚伪。
See, I'm not condemning you. That's not what I'm trying to do.
我又不是在这里来说大家。
I just want to bring truth out so you're aware.
我只是想告诉大家一个现象，就是他观察到的。
And you can evaluate your heart.
所以我们可以来检视我们的心。
And one more hard truth.
再一点 hard truth 就是听起来不怎么顺，但是却是事实。
You know, it says living sacrifice, right? It's offer your bodies as living sacrifice. It means this is a continual thing for every day of your life, or every season of your life.
对，因为这个是活祭，表示这是活的，所以是每天都在动的那个，不是在台上死的那个祭物，是一个活的祭物。
Yeah, 你活了就需要去 sacrifice, right? So that every moment you're alive, you're sacrificing.
所以其实每一个时时刻刻，我们都是要做一个活祭。
But the thing is, here's the truth, that your yesterday's sacrifice is not sufficient for today.
但是我们要记得，我昨天献上的祭，今天并不是今天的祭。
不够。
不够。
Because if you offer the same thing to Him, it no longer costs you.
你献上同样的东西。
If you keep offering Him the same thing, it no longer costs you.
对，如果你一直献同样的东西，就对你来讲就不是什么付出了。
If it doesn't cost you, then it's not a sacrifice.
如果对你不是一个付出一个什么献上的一个东西，那就不叫做献祭了。
If there's no sacrifice, there's no fire.
如果不献祭，就没有火。
If there's no fire to pass on, your next generation will not enter the kingdom of heaven.
所以如果没有火，如果没有这个热情能够承传到下一代，下一代就不会有啊，
也不会进到天国。
也不会进到天国去。
Please don't feel guilty with what I'm saying.
请不要觉得有罪恶感。
I'm sharing this in my heart. I'm very burdened by this message because Pastor Andrew told me statistics recently.
这个负担在我的心里，因为陈牧师曾经告诉我一个统计。
That 95% of the Asian Americans, children, they no longer believe in God after going to college.
因为95% 的这个基督徒的孩子，当他们到大学以后，他们就不再信神或者去教会了。
It does not matter whether or not their family is involved in church or their leaders.
这跟他们是不是在基督徒的家庭，他们怎么样子，
或是领袖没有关系。
对，在教会里头是不是领袖都没关系。
We are in a crisis right now.
我们是在一个危机当中。
Like, I know some of you brought your kids here to get a better education, but it's more likely you brought them here to die.
我知道很多人带着孩子来这里是为了要有更好的教育，但是可能他们在这里确实受到更大的攻击。
I'm asking you to examine your life, adults.
我请各位我们来省思。
Are you only a Christian on Sundays?
我们是礼拜天的基督徒。
Is going to church being a routine just a normal thing for you now?
礼拜天来教会是一个例行公事。
Because for me, it's again. There's nothing more important than the people close to you to see that you're on fire for God.
让人家看到你是为神有热情，这是很重要的事情。
Right? I mean, I'm a youth pastor, right? I pastor at Arcadia campus.
我是一个年轻的牧师，我在 Arcadia 这个带年轻人。
I see them maybe twice a week. I see the youth twice a week.
我一个礼拜只有2次看到这些孩子。
And maybe like 3 times, depending on the week.
最多也是3次。
Right? I will do my best for Bible study. I can lead small groups. I can preach the Word of God. But the maximum exposure I have for them is about maybe 6 to 8 hours max a week.
我会尽我能力的来带他们读圣经，小组跟他们 hang out， 但是我跟他们的时间最多大概6、7个小时。
Most of the discipleship happens at home.
最多的时间，他们有最多的时间是在家里头，所以如果我们要门徒训练的话。
Yes, I have a job to bring them to learn about the Lord, but the people that they're watching the most is your parents, their parents.
我是来带这些年轻人，但是这些孩子们，他们影响他们最多的是在他们的家里头。
They're watching the previous generation. Do you at home, do you run to money when you're in trouble, or do you run to God?
你在家里头，当你有问题的时候，你是去找金钱，还是来找神？
Because where you run to, they are watching.
因为他们在看你是在哪里寻求帮助。
Do they see you pray? Do they see, or they only see you pray in church?
他们看到你祷告吗？还是你只在教会？
Because if you only pray at church, you're telling them prayer is only for church, not their personal life.
如果我们只在教会祷告的话，他们就是看到祷告只是在教会，在家其他时候都不用。
You tell them to read the Bible, but do you read it yourself?
我们叫他们读圣经，但是我们自己有没有读圣经？
My wife reads the Bible more than I do.
我太太比我读更多的圣经。
But my mother-in-law never told her to read the Bible.
但是我的岳母却从来没有叫她读圣经。
All she did was, hey, it's 8 o'clock, honey, I'm going to read the Bible. When my wife was young, my mother-in-law would tell my wife that every day at 8 o'clock it's time for her to read the Bible.
对，她小时候每到8点钟，她妈妈就说8点钟了要读圣经。
And then my wife, eventually just naturally want to read it on her own.
所以后来我太太就自己想要读圣经。
Kids learn more from what you show them than what you tell them.
孩子从你的榜样中学到的更多，比你告诉他们的还要多。
And I think in your life you know that.
我想我们在我们的生命中，我们知道。
Are we okay? Okay. I have a heavy burden for the next generation.
我对下一代有很大的负担。
Because if we ask ourselves, are we really okay? And one day that we stand before God in His throne, and then we turn around, there's nobody there from your bloodline.
如果我们有一天站到神面前，但是我们向后转，发现都没有人。
From your family, from your bloodline, right?
从你的家里头。
See, the most important thing you pass on is your fire for God.
我们能够承传给我们的下一代的，就是我们对神的热情。
I have one of the 领袖 in our Arcadia campus.
Arcadia 有一个领袖。
This leader, right? I'm using that word correctly, right? Okay. She told me that when before she became a believer, her husband's grandmother will be praying in her room very loudly for an hour every single day. 她的 husband 的奶奶吧。
她的丈夫的祖母会在她的房间祷告，非常大声。
Every day for 1 hour.
每一天可以祷告1个钟头。
And her name is Sherry, and she told me that her husband's grandmother's prayer really influenced her walk with Jesus.
所以他就说他这个先生的奶奶这样子的祷告影响到他跟神的关系。
One of my youth leaders that I have at Arcadia.
我 Arcadia 一个年轻的一个带领者。
Her name is Christy.
她叫 Christy.
And she told me that one of her earliest memory of her mother is that she sees her mother praying every morning at 3 o'clock.
她对她妈妈的印象是她妈妈早上3点钟起来祷告。
That memory somehow just is the first thing she remembers about her mother.
这个是她小时候对她妈妈的印象。
And both of them are now on fire believers at our church.
这2位现在都是教会里头为神大发热心的人。
Why?
为什么？
Because they caught the fire of the last generation.
因为他们承传了上一代的那个热火。
I know that getting a good job is important.
我知道找了一个好工作是很重要的。
I know that getting to a good college is pretty important, I guess.
我知道去好大学也是很重要。
But I'm sorry, they're not more important than your children's relationship with God.
但是我告诉你，你孩子跟神的关系是更重要。
Which means that if they didn't get into a good college, you should still be proud of them.
这就是说，如果他们没有上好大学，你也是对他们非常骄傲。
If they didn't get a good job, you should still be proud of them.
他们如果没有个好工作，你还是觉得感到非常的骄傲。
Because if they're only praised when they do those things, they think those things are the most important in their life. If they only praise because they get a good college and a good job, then they will think that's the most important thing.
如果他们只是有好工作、进好大学才得到赞赏，那他们就会觉得那个是最重要的事情。
Be proud of them for being on fire for God.
当他们为神大发热心的时候，你也要感到非常非常骄傲。
I know that for some of you may have children already left your home.
我们之中可能有些人已经孩子离开家了。
I know some of you, you know what? You can do something as simple as send them a prayer every week from text or phone.
你可以很简单的就是每天我送他一个短信，是一个祷告的短信。
Because we're supposed to look different when we get saved, right?
我们得救了以后，我们应该有一个新的生命。
Right? If you look the same before you're saved and you look the same after you're saved, I question if you're saved or not.
如果我们信主前、信主后都还是一样过日子，那有什么差别？
你真的信主吗？
真的得救了吗？
Again, I'm not condemning you, I'm just challenging you.
我只是在挑战大家，我并不是在说大家。
I'm not asking any of us to be perfect.
我并不是说要求每一个人都要完美。
I have a 2-year-old.
我有个2岁的女儿。
With her, I know how imperfect I am as a person.
当我面对我的女儿，我知道我是多么的不完美。
But God is not asking for perfection, He's asking for a hungry heart.
但是神并不是要求我们完美，神是要求我们对神的一个热情，一个爱心。
He can work with a hungry heart.
他可以在我们渴慕的心里头来做工。
He doesn't work with a hard heart.
但是他没有办法在一个实心上工作。
So if you make mistakes and you're willing to repent, God restores you.
如果我们做错了，我们来悔改，神会恢复我们。
Yeah, Romans 8:28.
罗马书8章18节。
That God will bring all things to the good for those who love Him and are called according to His purposes.
万事互相效力，叫爱神的人得益处，就在耶稣基督旨意里所定的。
So you need to love God.
所以我们必须要先爱神。
If you love God, then your past can be restored no matter what you did.
当我们爱神的时候，我们的过去也可以被恢复来为神所用。
But don't be hard-hearted like Hezekiah in the end.
但是不要像希西家王这样到晚年心变成硬的。
right? You guys okay?
Yes.
What do I do, Holy Spirit? You know, it takes a whole church to raise the next generation.
需要一整个教会一起来兴起我们的下一代。
Not just the pastors.
不是靠牧师。
It's true, right? I know at this church we're missing a youth pastor.
我知道在我们在牧区，我们没有一个年轻的牧者。
I want to help, but I really can't.
我虽然很想帮助，但是我没有办法。
But until then, the most important thing I want everybody to know is that how you are at home really, really matters.
但是直到我们有一个这样子的年轻牧者，我想让大家知道，在家里头你怎么样做非常重要。
Right?
是吗？
I know some of you are called to this church and you're here to build it together with Catherine.
我知道你们大家在这里就是被神呼召，我们一起来建造教会。
So things are not going to be perfect.
事情不会十全十美。
But our main focus is what does God want me to focus on in this season?
但是我们要知道，神在这个季节当中，他要我们专注在哪里。
How can I show my fire to the next generation?
我怎么样子能够表现出我对神的热情，然后让下一代能够看见。
Your children may reject you for a little bit. Reject you.
你的小孩子可能会开始拒绝你。
I mean, especially teenagers, right? It's like you want to go pray for them, and they're like, "No, don't touch me," right? That's just the reality.
特别是年轻人，你可能跟他说：“我来替你祷告。”他可以说：“不要碰我。”
哎呦，好尴尬，不酷 right? Because you know your parents are old.
对，这对小孩来讲就是这样子，特别是年轻人。
Can I tell you though? Same thing with the youth ministry as a youth pastor.
跟你讲，这样的事情也是发生在那个年轻牧者身上 ，youth pastor 也是碰到这样的事。
But ministry to the next generation is all about sowing seeds.
但是对下一代的一个侍奉，就是我们就是要撒种。
You will probably won't see the fruit of your seed until like 10 to 20 years later.
你可能一下子看不到结果，可能要10年、20年才看到它成长结果。
That's why we lay the foundation. We plant the seed into their hearts with the fire of God.
这就是我们为什么这个时候我们来打好地基、打好基础，然后让他们看到那个对神的那种火热的心。
So when they go into the world, things doesn't work for them.
当他们进到世界，发生很多事情并没有像他们想象的
They
那
did
样。
the things that the world told them to do.
他们面对世界很多告诉他们要做这做那。
Oh yeah, you gotta chase beauty. Oh, I gotta chase career. Oh, I gotta chase status.
他们要追逐很多世界的东西，金钱、财富。
I do this so people can love me.
我做这，我做那个，所以只是为了让人喜欢我。
And when they get crushed by the world, they will remember that at home that we have a family who loves Jesus.
当他们在世界被打垮的时候，他们知道他们的家还是在那里来拥抱他们。
We have a mother that prayed for me, even though when I was disobedient to her.
我有个母亲来为他祷告，即使是他这样子反抗我。
I have a father who always welcomes me, even though I made a mistake.
我有父亲跟我一起同行，即使我做错事。
So you lay the foundation so that no matter how dark things get in their life, they'll remember.
所以不论他发生到多么面对多么黑暗的事情，他知道他的家人还是拥抱他。
Because at home there's Jesus.
因为在家里头有耶稣。
That became the foundation of their life.
耶稣成为他们生命的基石。
And if church does things well,
如果教会做得好，
they'll remember that going to church, even though it's kind of weird, but at least people were very nice to me.
如果教会做得好，他们也会知道来教会这些人对我很好。
Lay the foundation.
所以我们就 设下基础，打好基础。
with the fire of God.
用对神的热情跟爱心。
Amen.
Amen.
How much time do I have?
3 minutes.
Nice. Are you guys sick of me yet?
你们有听烦了吗？
Let me just say one more thing about children who are your youth, children who are a little bit older, like they're out of the house.
我来讲一些关于孩子大一点已经离开家的。
If they don't believe in the Lord, don't stop praying for them.
如果他们还不信，不要停止为他们祷告。
Okay. Love them continuously.
不断的爱他们。
The Bible says it's the kindness of God that leads to repentance.
圣经上讲说，我们的慈爱能够引导他们悔改。
Right? People are more likely to respond to God when they've shown kindness.
人在这个恩慈当中比较能够回应神。
Please do not stop praying
请
for
不要
your
停止
kids.
对孩子们的祷告。
I'm really sensing some of you are saddened by the fact that either your son or daughter is not walking with God right now.
我感觉到我们其中有些人因为孩子远离神，所以心里头觉得非常沉重、伤心。
I want you to remember, hey, God will honor your relationship, but you got to keep praying for the
但
next
是我让你
generation.
知道，神看重这样子的关系，你不要停止祷告。
Okay. So my wife, she's black.
我的太太是黑人，
So my mother did not approve in the beginning.
所以我妈妈一开始就不赞成我们的交往。
Even though we're all Christians,
虽然我们都是基督徒，
technically we're going to go be in the same place in heaven, right?
我们在天堂都会在一起嘛。
So it was also a season when she went through a lot of shame and guilt from the stuff that's happening in her life.
而且在她成长过程中，她也经过很多的这种让她觉得羞耻或不安的事情。
First of all, I don't know why I'm sharing with you this. I'm just trusting the Holy Spirit.
我不知道为什么跟你们讲这个。
我在相信圣灵, okay? And so when the shame hit its max when her oldest son is dating a black woman.
所以当他的大儿子去跟一个黑人交往的时候，他的这种羞耻感就已经达到最高点了。
So I went through a very difficult time with my mother.
所以我跟我妈妈有一段非常困难的时间。
See, I knew I was supposed to be with my wife. The Lord made it very clear.
神很清楚地告诉我，我要跟我的太太在一起。
But then my mother was really against it to a point where it got really bad with our arguments.
但是妈妈非常的反对，所以有一段我们的关系非常的恶劣。
Again, I don't know why I'm sharing this, but just trust the Holy Spirit, right? In that time, God told me to continue to honor and love my mother.
那段时间，神叫我继续要爱跟尊荣我的母亲。
That if she attacked me with hate or anger, I will respond in love.
如果她用恨跟愤怒来对待我的时候，我要用爱来回应她。
Like whatever she did, I come in the opposite spirit.
当她对我的时候，我要用不一样的态度来回她。
So I forgave a lot in that season.
所以我完全的原谅她。
No, in that season, I had to keep forgiving over and over again.
是不断的原谅她，在那段时间。
You see, it was interesting. One day I was driving in my car.
有一天我在开车的时候，
The Lord gave me a vision as I was driving.
神给我一个意象。
And in the vision, I saw me and my mom were arguing.
在印象中，我跟我妈在吵架。
I got so angry. Again, in the vision, I picked up a vase and I smashed her in the head.
我在那个印象中，我非常的生气，所以我拿了一个花瓶，我就打到她身
And I
上。
saw my mother bled and fell down the stairs and died.
我就看我妈妈被那个脸上都是血，然后就倒下来就死了。
My brother came up the stairs. He's like, "Dude, what the hell?"
我弟弟跑上来说：“哇，发生什么事？”
And I got into jail.
所以我就进监狱。
My brother hates me.
所以我弟弟很恨我。
I lost my mother.
我失去我的母亲。
Did not marry my wife.
我也没有跟我太太结婚。
And the vision's over.
所以这个意象就结束了。
I parked the car so I can process what happened.
我就停车来想这个是怎么一回事。
To me, I realized that God revealed me that this was the plan of the enemy.
所以神告诉我，这就是仇敌的计划。
That if I'm going to give in to hate and anger and disappointment, that the enemy will use that to ruin everything in my life.
所以如果在愤怒仇恨中继续，仇敌就会用着这个来摧毁一切。
I made a commitment that day that I will do everything in the ways of God.
所以在那天我就立誓说，我要用神的方式来处理这个事情。
That the Bible says, "Bless those who persecute you."
神说为你的仇敌祷告，
Right? And yeah,
祝福。
pray 祝福 and 为你仇敌祷告 right? Both, right? I'll do it. I don't care.
所以不管怎么样，我就是要这样
Because
做。
I know if I give in to anger and I give in to darkness, the enemy wins.
因为我知道，如果我向这个黑暗的势力屈服的话，仇敌就赢了。
This is where I realize that if we do things God's way, we get God's results.
所以我相信，我们如果用神的方式做事，我们就得到神的结果。
And after about a year, by the grace of God, my relationship with my mom and my wife has become so much better.
所以1年以后，我跟我妈妈的关系，跟我太太的关系都变得非常好。
And now we're great.
我现在就很棒，
Praise God.
感谢神。
I don't know why I shared that.
It's a great testimony.
I know some of you need to hear it.
Yeah.
But my whole point is that I don't know why. I don't have a point.
不容易啊，不容易啊。It's very not easy.
So I'm done. I don't have anything. Let's just wrap it up. Yeah. Yeah, I'll pray for them. I'll pray for them. You know. But I just want to summarize. Okay.
我结束一下。
Point number 1.
第一点，
Your best gift to the next generation is your fire.
你给下一代最大的祝福就是你的对神的热情。
Examine your heart to see why is God calling you to sacrifice this season.
我们自我省察，看神要我们献上的是什么样的祭，
在这个季节。
在这个季节里。
3. Show and demonstrate your fire to the next generation, especially at home.
第3，在用行动来表现出你对神的热情跟爱，特别是在家中。
Okay. 好吗？
可以吗？
Can we raise the next generation together?
让我们一起来掀起我们的下一代。
Can we love them even though they made mistakes?
即使他们做错事情，我们还是爱他们。
Yeah. Amen. Let's pray.
Amen. 我们一起祷告。
God, you put on the hearts of the pastors at New Life Christian Center to focus on family this year.
主啊，你今年透过牧师，你把让家有爱的主题给我们。
And I pray that 2020, I just declare over the church that we see families restored.
所以我要奉耶稣的名宣告，2020年我们要看到许多家庭的关系被恢复。
If there are prodigals, they call them to come back home.
浪子会回头。
And that if there is healing or change that we need to be changed, God help us change.
医治能够带来改变。
Help us with our unbelief.
帮助我们能够除去我们不信的心。
And transform us into your image.
改变我们成为你的力量。
And God, I pray for the Rancho Church and as well as Catherine right now.
神，我来奉你的名来祝福 Rachel 跟传道。
I pray that this year you will see, the church right here will see many, many fruit.
你要祝福2020年这里能够结出许多的果子。
And now, God, I pray that you will take them somewhere so good that is beyond their expectation.
你会带领他们到一个美好之地，超过他们的所求所想。
And I pray that this church come in one, in unity.
我祷告这个教会能够合一，成为一体。
That together we can change the city.
我们在一起能够转换这个城市。
We can change our home.
我们可以改变我们的家。
God help us.
神啊，求你帮助我们。
Make us hungry for you.
让我们更渴慕你。
We love you, Jesus.
我们爱你，耶稣。
Amen.
奉耶稣。